Philippines joins the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP, and economic managers say it's about time. Traditional jeepneys will be making their last trip soon as the PUV modernization program nears rollout. And happening tomorrow, the reveal of the final Gilas Pilipinas lineup for the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Senate has ratified the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP. 20 senators said yes to joining the world's largest trade pact. The RCEP is a free trade deal among 10 ASEAN member countries with Australia, China, New Zealand, Japan, and South Korea, which would lower or remove tariffs for select goods and services, intellectual property, and investment. Senator Amy Marcos abstained from voting. She says that lawmakers should have considered the livelihood of local farmers and producers before entering the agreement.
Aking paninindigan hindi bilang kapatid sa kapangyarihan, kundi bilang anak ng legasiya ng aking ama, na laging unahin ang maliliit, ang mga nagsasaka ng lupa at ng lahat ng mga nangangailangan. Pahintulutan ninyo akong hindi lumahok sa botohang ito, di dahil umiiwas sa katungkulan, kundi hanggang sa panahong ito, bigo pa rin ang nakararami sa bukid.
For her part, Senator Rhys Ontiveros is not convinced that the RCEP will not pose security and health risks to Filipinos. Ontiveros was the lone senator who voted against the deal's ratification.
The calculations for me are simple, Mr. President. Dapa na po ang ating agrikultura. Hindi pa tayo nakakaahon sa pandemya. This is not the time for RCEP.
On the other hand, the country's economic managers welcomed the RCEP's ratification. NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan says the move will boost the country's position as an ideal investment hub in the ASEAN region. For Finance Chief Ben Diokno, RCEP is key to a more open and transparent trade and an expanded market. The RCEP consolidates existing ASEAN free trade agreements among members and covers trade in goods and services, among others. And the days of traditional jeepneys are numbered. The government is going full steam ahead with its PUV modernization program, and jeepney operators and drivers have until the end of June to consolidate. Gerard de la Peña with the details.
Victor feels that his 4-decade career as a jeepney driver is about to end. The LTFRB has set yet another deadline for jeepney operators and drivers to consolidate and modernize their units. This time, it's final. Jeepney drivers like Victor need to be part of a cooperative or corporation before June 30. If not, their franchise will end and they will no longer be allowed to ply their routes. This is difficult for Victor, especially when he only purchased his jeepney 2 years ago and has not yet recouped his investments. He said he can't afford to buy a modern unit which is 20 times more expensive than his traditional jeepney.
Sa akin, siyempre, hindi maganda yun dahil kasi ang hanap buhay namin, hindi naman kami makakakuha ng sinasabi nila na modern dahil sa taas. Hindi namin kakayanin. Eh siyempre, kung talagang mawawala itong hanap buhay namin, siyempre, malungkot. Di ba? Wala na, hindi ka na paano yung gastusin namin? Pangailangan ng mga anak namin sa bahay.
The LTFRB's directive does not necessarily put an end to traditional jeepneys that are practically icons of Filipino pop culture. Franchises of jeepney operators will be extended up to the end of the year if they will be able to consolidate before the deadline. If not, these units can be put to personal use and not as public transport. This is the 4th time that the LTFRB extended the deadline for operators to consolidate since the program's launch in 2017.
Binigyan pa ng pagkakataon yung mga individual operators na hindi pa nakakapag-form or nakakasali ng juridical entity or co-op or corporation para makasali sila hanggang June 30. Yung iba naman po na hindi talaga na mag-avail doon sa modernization, mayroon pong another component na gobyerno, ng Department of Transportation sa kanyang LTFRB. Ito po yung nasa DOLE at saka yung nasa TESDA. Meron po itong fund na naka-allocate para po tulungan yung mga drivers, operators na mag-decide to go out of the transport industry.
The LTFRB said that about 60% of public utility jeepneys in the country have already consolidated. However, the process is not a walk in the park. Operators at the Catolo Transport Cooperative in Quezon City said that the application took years to get approval. Each operator also had to shell out 40,000 for capital, while drivers need to pay 16,000 pesos each to join. Getting the loan for the initial 6 modernized units, which cost more than 2 million pesos each, is also difficult.
Marami pong proseso, kailangan pa ng medyo malaking pondo. Pero may pondo lang po kami nakalaan. Kaya lang talagang parang marami pa pong nauna sa amin.
The Transportation Department earlier called on interested parties with scrappage facilities to get accredited for the proper disposal of old and dilapidated jeepney units. For News 5, Gerard De La Peña, We Are One News.
We're bringing you more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. Sean Yao. Senator Francis Tolentino slammed the health department for letting 44 million COVID-19 vaccine doses go to waste. The lawmaker blamed the wastage on the procurement of nearly expired vaccines, distribution delays, and improper handling. Former COVID-19 Task Force Chief Implementer Vince Dizon explained that the Duterte administration was strict with its first-in, first-out policy for vaccines. Senator Tolentino also questioned the method of disposal of the expired vaccines, saying that simply incinerating the vials was not enough.
Yes, environmentally, that may not be sound. That may also be hazardous. Where do we dump the 44 million wasted vaccines? Cremation probably would not be enough because these are living protein mRNA viruses. So they were talking of protocols, but I think there has got to be a joint task force with DNR concerning this.
In volleyball, the Akari Chargers finally barged into the win column, while the PLDT high-speed hitters halted the Cherry Tigo Crossovers winning streak. Marty Bautista with the details.
Slow down. Cobb goes to the middle. And once again,
the Akari Chargers and Army Black Mamba were neck and neck in the opening moments of the first set in the PVL All-Filipino Conference. But through their steady offense, the Chargers were able to push ahead as a hit error from Army and a Dindin Manabat hit gave Akari the first frame.
Dindin, not with too much power, but in the end, they're gonna get this set.
The Black Mamba put up a strong fight in the third set, breaking free of a 23-all deadlock to score the last 2 points.
smart move there.
But the Chargers made sure to take the fourth as a block from Princess Madrigal and a service ace iced the game.
Oh, good serve.
Is it going to be an ace? It is!
Final score 25-18, 25-19, 23-25, and 25-19. Manabat was stellar in Akari's win, putting up 23 points to lead all scorers. The win puts the Chargers in the win column as Army was kept winless in 3 games.
Every time na sinasabi namin sa mga games namin, manalo lang kami ng isa, makuha lang namin yung momentum, magsusunod-sunod na, and alam namin na magigising yung teammates ko or kami na pag nakaset kami, talagang magdedere-derecho.
We go back to Medres. Finally, after 2 straight attack errors.
In the second game, the PLDT high-speed hitters got everything going their way in the first set against the Cherry Tigo crossovers. While the team easily took the first frame, the next 2 frames were as tight as it can be. Leading 23-22, PLDT middle blocker Del Palomata drilled in 2 spikes to take the second set. The third set was close too and was tied at 25 apiece after a series of back and forths from both teams. Jovelyn Prado, though, had enough of it and scored the last 2 points for the win. Final 25-13, 25-22, and 27-25. The high-speed hitters took their second win and halted the 3-game winning streak of the crossovers. 4 high-speed hitters scored in double figures, led by Mary Ann Medreses, 14 points. PVL action resumes Thursday at the Phil Oil Eco Oil Center with the Choco Mucho Flying Titans taking on Army at 4 p.m. This will be followed by PLDT versus the Petrogas Angels at 6:30 p.m. For News 5, Marty Bautista, we are One News.
And the final lineup of Gilas Pilipinas for the 6th and final window of the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers is expected to be announced tomorrow afternoon. According to Gilas head coach Chot Reyes, they're having a hard time picking just 12 guys from the pool since everyone has shown consistency of play in practices. Today is the last day of training for Gilas ahead of the game versus Lebanon on Friday. And while the Philippines is assured of a spot in the World Cup as a co-host, Team Gilas says they're not relaxing.
It's hard to pick out an individual or two because we just told the guys now how much we like the way they've been competing, the effort they're putting in. So it's hard to single any single player out because everyone is really putting out.
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao. We are One News. All sides, all the time.